Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello all, welcome to this course of Microeconomics. I'm Dr. Angan Gupta. I am an assistant professor with the Department of Management, Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, India, Bangalore campus. I wish that you all are doing well with your family members, keeping all the precautions, um, I wish that you will be enjoying the course during next few hours, whatever I'll be delivering you through that. And I hope that I get to see you all in your best physical and mental conditions. And so with this introduction, I would like to start this course. First of all, many people even now, they ask me that what is the basic difference between accountancy and economics. For them, both this accountancy and economics are same. So before going to economics, I'll first tell you that accountancy is basically the science, the subject which deals with the reporting, analyzing, and practicing the business data, financial data, mostly their profits and losses, more in a practical sense. Whereas in economics, we deal with again mostly the financial and monetary terms. Both of the subjects are quite numerical in nature. But in economics, we deal with certain conditions. So in economics, economics is a part of social science, is a branch of social sciences. If I can read you that, you can see this in the screen. It's a social science that is concerned with how individuals, institutions, and societies, communities, institutions means it can be an organization, it can be the state or the government, it can be a country or different countries or a group of countries, make optimal, that is the best decisions under conditions of scarcity when they are given a few alternative choices, right? So how they take certain decisions, and they are supposed to be the best decisions, given all these all the conditions of their requirement and the given scarcity. So, economics is studied primarily under four conditions. We say that every individual is rational. That means they can make their decisions with all their cognitions, with all their knowledge. They make the best decisions. They know what is good, better, and best for them, and what is not good for them. So everyone makes a known, conscious choice, or makes a decision for themselves, for a larger group of people. It can be their family, it can be a community, it can be the entire country. So the four conditions are: number one, unlimited wants. Now, what is unlimited wants? Wants is whatever we desire, any good, any service, whatever we wish, we desire to get as a luxury commodity for our daily life, as a like means of sustenance, like daily requirement. It can be food, it can be our education, it can be health, it can be car, it can be house, it can be anything, right? But we have unlimited wants. We want a nice car, we want a big house, we want best education, we want health, we want food, we want so many things. And now today I have a two-wheeler, tomorrow I want a car, day after tomorrow I want a bigger car, and then I want a luxury car, even if it is small. So there is no end in terms of our desire, in terms of our want, in terms of what we demand, right? So but can we really get whatever we want? We do not get, because there are certain constraints, limitations. They are known as resource constraints or scarce resources. That means the resources to procure those elements, whatever we require to procure whatever we want, is limited in nature. We have limited budget. That I want a house, I may not have that much of money. I want apple, orange, grapes, potato, tomato, rice, dal, but I may not have that much. So I drop apple and grapes and I get rest. So we have certain limitations, that is called as constraint or scarcity. Similarly, if someone, like say a producer, they want to produce unlimited amount of commodities, right? So now, can they produce anything and everything they want? No, because they have also scarce resources in terms of inputs, those which the commodities, the labor supply, the capital, whatever is required to produce something. So their wish to produce, it can be enormous. There is unlimited want, so they want to satisfy that, but can they really satisfy that? No. Or can they really satisfy their own wish to produce anything and everything? No, because there is a scarcity of resources. They are nothing but the inputs required for production. Therefore, under these conditions of we have unlimited wants, we want everything, we demand for many things, at the with certain constraints, with certain limitations in terms of our supply, in terms of supply of the final product, supply of the inputs, and so on and so forth, we also have several choices. That I said that I want to buy, I have gone to market, I want to buy rice, dal, potato, tomato, orange, apple, and grapes. Now I have say 100 rupees in my pocket. How much or what I will get? I may not get everything. I may get everything in limited quantities, or I may get few of them in whatever quantity I want to get. So we have several choices, right? It can be two choices. It can even be just one choice. We do not have any other option left. It can very well prevail. So we will learn about that. There can be n number of choices, that is enormous, multiple choices. We do not know how many choices are there. So that can also happen. So we have alternate choices. The numbers may vary, the number of choices may vary in different ranges for different conditions, different markets, different economies and all. Now, this is on you, how you are going to decide that which choice, which bundle, combination of commodities or goods you will avail. You will either buy or you will supply. If you are a producer, you will supply. If you are a consumer, you will buy. So this decision making, it should be optimal. Now every individual is rational. They take decisions based on their entire, like with their good amount of knowledge, what they want, that they will be satisfied, their needs will be met. So they will take the best decision given all these choices, their and the limitations of resources. Now, if they can take the best choice of, or they can decide the best choice, or they can take the best decision, that is known as optimal decision. Now, an optimal decision taking, that the process of that is known as efficiency. If they can take an optimal decision, then that is an efficient process, or the economic unit agent, you as a consumer, you as a producer, or the country, the state. So whatever, who is taking the decision, if they can take the best decision, then they will be considered as an efficient decision maker. Yes. Now there can be different types of efficiency: technological efficiency, allocative efficiency. Just a easy example, that if you have a half glass of water, An optimist will say there is still half full of water. The glass is half full with water. A pessimist who takes things negatively, they will say that the glass is half empty. So they are considering that empty, that the negative part. The optimist who takes things at a brighter note, they will say the glass is half full. An economist will say it is inefficient because half is wasted. You could get more out of it with the given resources, that is the glass. You could get more of water, but now you got just half glass of water. So this is an inefficient decision. So inefficiency can be like technological inefficiency or efficiency. If you can produce or the most with given scarce conditions, constraints. And allocative efficiency, if the supplier can meet the demand, or the demand and supply is in equilibrium. Whatever is being demanded, the same amount could be supplied, or whatever is being supplied, exactly that amount is demanded. So if that can prevail in a market, then that is allocative efficiency. So these are certain condition based on which the economics works. Therefore, economics is basically a very scientific approach which we show in a very at a very lucid, easy manner, as the subject is not the subject whatever we will study, but in general the subject is quite complicated. We always study based on two commodities, three commodities, four commodities, n commodities we can study, right? We can study economics at a very very simpler way, but when we look at the whatever we read in the books, when we look at the market, when we look at the political economic system, the things may differ, generally differ by a large margin. Things are very complicated. We keep those complicated scenarios in our textbook at a very simple manner. First, we try to understand or establish the economic theories through graphical manners. In graph, it's generally 2D, two-dimensional. So we generally have either two commodities, X and Y, apple and oranges, or two factors of production, two inputs when we are producing something. That means capital and labor. Two types of labor, two types of capital, whatever. Generally, capital and labor, um, or one input, one output, price and quantity. So we generally take income and quantity demanded. So we generally take only two parameters. That is the graphical approach. Now, in a mathematical form, we can actually consider multiple commodities, multiple inputs, multiple outputs. So it becomes little more complicated, little more complex, when we want to study mathematically, we want to study economics mathematically. Of course, when we have only two commodities, one input, one output, only two inputs or two outputs, we can also we generally do that also mathematically. Um, but you can make it further more complicated, complex, and mathematics gives us that option. Otherwise, you know economics is, as a subject, is like a coconut. From outside it's very dry, does not really look good, but inside it's juicy, it's tasty, and it has a lot of different flavors with multiple uses in your food. Hence, economics, you need to dig deeper inside that. You need to break the coconut. You do not, you need to think, go deeper into the subject. Whatever you are reading, try to connect it with the real life scenarios, whatever you are observing outside, whenever you are reading a newspaper. Uh, you know, connected the politics, the international trade, the finance, whatever you are reading, connect it with your basic whatever you have studying microeconomics or macroeconomics, basic economics knowledge. You will understand the subject a much clearer way. Think more. If you can, whatever you are studying in textbook, whatever you are listening from me, if you can connect it with the real life scenarios, whenever you are going to market to buy vegetables, to buy fish, that's the best way of learning. When you teach yourself, I can teach you, but when you teach yourself, that's the best way of learning, in my opinion. So, who is considered the father of this subject, economics? The name of this great person is Adam Smith. He wrote his manuscript called The Wealth of Nations in the year of first published in the year of 1776, 1776. And there he introduced a subject which can be called as economics or economic theories. Before we start discussing, so this class will be completely on introducing you to economics, basic economic knowledge, economic understandings. So, while attempting to do that, the first concept we should learn is opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? You have got multiple alternatives. You have selected one, right? You have not selected several others. Yes. Hence, you are foregoing, you are giving up, you are missing the benefits, what you could derive with those other options which you are not opting for. Now, we will not consider if there are, say, 100 other options. You have selected, there were 101 options, you have selected one, and there are 100 other options. No. So, opportunity cost is the value or the benefits you could have derived from the second best option which you are not taking, which you are foregoing. So, the benefit or the value which you are foregoing by not selecting the second best option, whichever you think to you, is your opportunity cost. Yes. Um, so you have to, this varies, from person to person. Let me take an example of opportunity cost. In my university, we get students who resign from their job, say after 1 year of job, after 2 years of job, they resign from their job, and they come to do MBA degree, right? Probably after their BTech, they have done a couple of years of the job in an organization, and then they have come to do MBA. Now, what is their opportunity cost? They could have decided not to join an MBA program and continued with the job, and could have gone a good amount of salary, right? Those who are so the opportunity cost for them are the amount, the value, the benefit they are foregoing, they are letting go by joining this course of MBA and discontinuing their job. That is their opportunity cost. For you, those who are sitting in front of the TV listening to me, you also have got an opportunity cost that may not be monetarily estimated. What is that opportunity cost? You could have gone to, prepare some food and try some beautiful dishes for your lunch or dinner. You could have just read a storybook, chit chatting with your family members. You could have done so many things, right? So whatever you could have done, if not sitting here, the next best possible option according to you, and the benefits you are giving up by not doing that but sitting and listening to me, is your opportunity cost, right? So when I talked about that it may not be financial, what do I mean? I mean, it may not be monetary. What do I mean? That, and when I say that opportunity cost is the benefits or the value you are foregoing. Here we are talking about economic value. Yes, what is economic value? The benefits, the gains provided by a good. Good is a commodity, right? It can be fruits, it can be car, it can be TV, it can be anything, whatever the commodity, the product, the goods or services. Services is like the teaching, the medical services by the doctor, the farmer services by providing us food, the fisherman services to providing us by fish. So I take fish example because I am a Bengali. So uh, so whatever benefits you are getting by consuming or enjoying a good or a service to an economic agent. I'll later discuss what is economic agent. To an economic agent. An economic agent, as of now, is you and me. If I am having, say, an apple, yes, whatever benefit I am gaining from that apple is, that is my economic value. All right. Similarly, if I am doing something, say I'm teaching, whatever salary I am getting, that is also my economic value against my services. Here I am teaching, that's my service. I don't sell good. Like say, if for that vegetable vendor for whom I have bought that apple, for him selling that apple, he has earned something, say that 50 rupees, 40 rupees, whatever is his economic value for that apple, because he is earning some money. And for me, I have gained some satisfaction. Now I need to convert in this satisfaction, I need to convert it in a monetary value. That makes things easier. Whenever we explain something with numbers, we may be afraid of numbers. Are you good in mathematics? No. But mathematics is not that scary. Mathematics helps us to understand things in a much easier way. uh, so that is why even in economics, whatever satisfaction, if I say that I am a poorer student, weaker student than you are a better student than me, not much clear. If I say that you have got 80 in exam and I have got 30 in exam, so you have a clearer understanding about how good you are than me. Or if I say you have got 18 exam and I have got 78 in exam, that also tells a completely different story. So the numbers help us in understanding a scenario in a much better way. So if you are not going to be a mathematician, uh, doing things with complicated mathematics, generally in general, mathematics should help us, and it does. Hence, even in economics, if I say I am satisfied, I need to understand, or someone needs to understand how much I am satisfied. We try to convert it in a monetary measure or some numerical measure. We state that how much, just an example, it's called willingness to pay, that how much willingness to pay, that how much will I be ready to pay that amount of satisfaction. Yes, if I say I want to pay 30 rupees for that amount of satisfaction, and if I say that I want to pay 70 rupees to gain this amount of satisfaction. That means if I am paying 70 rupees, my satisfaction is higher than something which I am paying only 30 rupees. Getting my point? So an economic value is a measurement of benefits or gains, whatever you are gaining from consumption of a good or service. This satisfaction, whatever we were talking about, is known as utility. In our next class, we will learn about utility. This satisfaction is known as utility. So, utility, utility talks about whatever satisfaction we gain by consuming a commodity or from a service. Next is economic agent. We talked about economic agent when we were discussing economic value, right? Benefit provided by a good or service to an economic agent. To an economic agent means now I am that economic agent if I am buying that apple and biting on it. You are an economic agent if you are buying an apple and having it. So every individual is different. Similarly, for a household, so if I am buying a TV, my household, because the TV is for the entire family, so that family is the economic agent. If you are buying a refrigerator, a car, or a fan, that is for your family. If you are buying it in your house where your family stays, that is for the family, and hence the family is an economic agent. If I am putting up a street light and that street light is for the community, for a lane, whoever is staying in that lane, if you are pulling out money or the government is deciding whether to put a street light or not, then either the government or the community are the or is the economic agents. All right. So an economic agent is a decision maker. So I said the street light is, if it is the government's decision, if the government is deciding whether to put a street light or not, then the government, the state, the panchayat is the economic agent. And if the community, those who are saying that there are total 20 families staying in that locality, and that part of that road, one street light or two street light or whatever street lights that should give lights, and you have decided that it has been very dark, accidents are happening, so we will draw some money and we will put street lights. Then you are the economic agent, as the community, the entire community, the society is the economic agent. So whoever is the decision maker in that economic model or system, so they are my economic agents for that particular system. And you know that there are two branches of economics. One is microeconomics, another one is macroeconomics. So how are these two branches are different from each other? They are different based on the economic agents, the decision makers. Micro means small, macro means large. Yes, micro means small, macro means large. So microeconomics deals with the systems where the economic agents are small in number, or you know taking an example, I can say individuals. If I am a decision maker for myself, whether I will have chapati today or I will have noodles today. So if I am the decision maker, whether I will buy atta or I will buy maida, then it's a microeconomics. It's an individual making the decision. or if a family is taking a decision, we should buy a car or a bike, we should buy a table fan or a ceiling fan, then that is my the household, a small household, you know, 2 3 5 10 20 members are taking decisions. Or if it is a production decision, the farm, FIRM, a small or a single entity which is producing on its own, which will decide whatever the price, mostly how many quantities it will produce, whatever is the cost, how much their budget is, what is their capacity, how many they can produce, what will be their mechanism to transport the product, and finally the price, if they are allowed. We'll study about that also, that whether I am allowed to decide about prices or not. So here the firm is a small entity, just they are deciding on behalf of themselves. This all comes under microeconomics. Macro, larger decision makers, larger economic units or economic agents. um, Under macroeconomics, it's an aggregate of the microeconomic agents. Let us say that state, a country is an aggregate of thousands of hundreds of thousands of, millions, or in Indian terms lakhs and crores of individuals or families. So the state, the country is taking decisions on behalf of a large amount of group of population. Yes, aggregate. So me an individual, you as an individual, whoever are sitting in front of the television, your family members are also individual. Everyone in this country, 130 crores population, everyone may not take decisions. Kids, they do not take decisions. So even if we say that 50 crores decision makers together, or the government is taking decision for 130 crore population together, if for every individual households or every individual citizen. So it's an aggregate of the all the microeconomic agents. So the state, the country, and different countries, when India does trade with China, with USA, with Germany, with African nations, or whatever will be the decision by International Monetary Fund, and how it will change the global economy, these come under international economics, international trade, which is also a branch of macroeconomics. At the same time, coming to the production side, as I said, a single firm is a microeconomic agent, and a group of firms together producing the same or nearly same product are called industry. Say we can say that iron industry. So one firm Tata, another firm in Vilai, another firm. So Jindal. So there are several firms who are producing iron or associated products. So all these together forms an industry. So a firm is an individual unit, and industry is the combination of different firms. Similarly, a farmer is who is producing, say, sugarcane. They are cultivating, farming sugarcane or rice. So that individual farmer is the microeconomic agent. But whenever we are thinking of all the farmers together in the country, who are producing rice, then the total rice production, or in a particular state, all the Maharashtra, all the sugarcane producers, in Punjab, all the wheat producers, that comes under the total production, that comes under the macroeconomics. So next, there are another type of classification of economics. You can see in the screen positive economics and normative economics. A positive economics, I'm keeping it very simple with just examples, is which are pretty straightforward, that how things are. Let us take an example that why doctors are paid higher than the nurses, or the ambulance drivers. Why doctors are paid more? So we know that they, because of their skills, because of their the value, the benefit they produce. So for that, and this normative economics, the word normative comes from the word norm. It's like, whenever we are discussing with poverty, what is what should be done, for the best of the society. So, say, taking an example, that globalization increases income inequality, and that means because of globalization the richers are becoming more rich and poor people are becoming poorer. So it deals with poverty, it deals with income inequality, and then the economic decisions around globalization or reduction of poverty should be considered as a part of normative economics. Yes. Coming to the next topic, that is economic systems. There are basically three types of economic systems. The first one is laissez-faire capitalism, and the other complete extreme, the other side of this is command system, which is also known as socialism or communism, command system. Now, what do I understand by this word laissez-faire? Laissez hyphen Faire. That means government, the state has no role on the market, so they do not impose any restriction. So this is the purest form of capitalism. So, and what is command system, socialism or capitalism, is nothing but where state takes all the important decisions. Yes. The resources are owned by the states, the profit is owned and further distributed by the states, the decisions of utilization of resources are taken by the states. So everything is centrally governed, everything is governed by the states, decided by the states. So it's a state uh, owned society economy. Taking an example, Cuba, North Korea, they are the examples of socialist communist countries. Though China, Russia, there are a few examples of other communist countries. Many Latin American countries, on and off, are communist countries. So, but you know, what we generally observe, that most of the countries in the world are adopting or have adopted mixed economy, that is, parts of capitalism and parts of socialism or communism. So India is a pure form of mixed economy, and both these, capitalism and mixed economy together, they talk about market system. A market system is where all the participants, all the economic agents, they interact with each other. They place their demand, the suppliers place their supply. the price is known, they interact amongst each other, they bargain, and then finally they come up with an equilibrium. And whatever their capabilities are, given the goods and services, whatever is being produced and being supplied and being demanded, so they work on a balance. So the balance is maintained by the market themselves. um, the government has no role in a purest form. In a mixed economy, government just regulates. Sometimes they own some parts of the resources. Sometimes, they have privatized most of the resources. Some particular resources, like say health, education, they may have a larger control over them. So it's again, be it mixed, be it a pure capitalism, it's basically the participants, the buyers and sellers, they independently interact, and in the market determine the prices, and based on the prices they attain an equilibrium where buyers are happy and the suppliers are happy too. And then there are competitions, because everyone is placing their demand. There are multiple producers, they are supplying. The consumers, the demanders, they want to get as many as quantity at a lower price. The suppliers are wanting to sell as much as possible in a higher price. And everyone knows their own benefit, they are rational in nature. So there is a competition, and with out of that competition they come out with the best possible solution for themselves, if everyone is rational and efficient in their decision making. So this is how a market system work. And there are several forms of market system. We will learn about those market systems shortly. So hence there are three types of market systems: capitalism, mixed, and command socialism, or capitalism. Sorry, communism. Pardon. And for the mixed economy, like say in India, we are privatizing many sectors. In 1991, we have liberalized our economy: liberalization, privatization, globalization. And though China being a communist country, they have liberalized in the 70s. They have opened up their market, but with the central government governance close regulations. We started after our independence, when in 1950s, 1951, 52, 56, we were trying to develop our 5-year plans, constitutions. So we adopted a socialist framework following USSR, that Prashanto Chandra Mahalanobis model. Um, and the Nehru's cabinet, the planning commission, they adopted a socialist framework. But at the same time, there were private players as well, the large manufacturers, heavy industries, and all. So and then slowly, the private manufacturers, they were working, they were existing in the market under some government regulations. And then, with the emergence of globalization, we opened up our economy, and we have continued opening up our economy. And now, you get everything in Indian market. Imported, anything can be available. So we are a mixed economy. But was it like this? Before this monetary system, before these financial systems, the banking systems appeared, money first of all appeared. Before that, it was called barter economy, BARTER, barter economy, where people used to exchange goods and services. Like say, if I am teaching, I'll be teaching something to someone, say a farmer's son, and against my services, what I get rice from that farmer. A farmer goes to the saloon to get his haircut, and the barber gets vegetables against it. So it's an exchange of commodities and services. So there was no monetary transaction. So after this barter economy, slowly there was introduction of money and use of money became popularized. And with the modern day monetary system, slowly the banking system emerged. Then the reserve banks came into play. The central banks, not Reserve Bank of India is Indians central bank. So the central banking system came into picture, and things are more structured now with banking, non-banking financial organizations, everything together. Use of currency, and now even currencies are being replaced by digital payment, card-based payment, right? So after this, barter economy, or we arrived at the modern day economy. Slowly, we have shifted our economic systems, and in terms of the production, it's basically the relationship between the inputs and outputs. We have primarily three types of inputs: land, labor, any type of human labor, and capital. It can be financial, it can be non-financial capital, it can be machineries. So there are three types of inputs of production, which is also known as factors of production. Three types: land, labor, and capital. And that, you know combined together, produces output. So input and output, the best strategies around it are studied in the theories of production and cost. As again we have started discussing production, like we touched upon production, it is not complete the introduction class if we do not talk about production possibility frontier. Production possibility frontier, PPF. So you can again see in the screen, it is the maximum quantity of goods. Here, I will explain you graphically. We will be discussing just two goods or two types of goods. So the maximum quantity of goods that can be efficiently produced, the maximum quantity of goods that can be efficiently. Why efficiently? Because I have multiple options. I have multiple combinations, even if two goods, right? And or given my technology, given my available resources, my budget constraints, I can make many choices, but whatever is the best one, if I can attain that, then that's an efficient production. So it's the maximum quantity of goods that can be produced efficiently by an economy or an economic agent, given its technology, by a firm, by an industry, by a state, by a country, given its technology, what is available to them, and the quantity of available resources. We Whenever we discuss um, about production possibility frontier, we talk about opportunity cost, because in production possibility frontier, I told you about the efficiency given several choices. So whenever we have choices, we have opportunity cost, because we are taking one choice and letting go other choices. So there are opportunity cost. So production possibility frontier is basically concave to the origin. You can see in the screen, they are basically concave to the origin. So over here in the first diagram on the left most side, you can see that there are two commodities, X and Y. For example, we can talk about cars and automobiles, or automobiles and mobile phones. And you can see that these are being exchanged. Like, say, if I am not producing any car, I can produce around 30 mobile phones. If I am producing one car, I am producing 27 mobile phones. If I am producing two cars, I am producing 20. If I am producing three cars, I am producing 10 mobile phones. So these are different combinations, right? On different points A, B, and C. We have three different points and we have different combinations. Now whatever would be best, we do not know, so that the economic agent has to decide that which combination they will produce. But when I am talking about the opportunity cost, let us see here. I have stated few numbers: 3, 7, 10 on the right hand side of the diagram. What are these 3, 7, and 10? These 3, 7, and 10 are nothing but, if you observe, when I am not producing any cars, zero cars on the origin, I am producing 30 mobile phones. If I am producing one car, I am producing now 27 mobile phones. So how many mobile phones I foregone? Given up. I've given up 3, 30 to 27. Now, when I am manufacturing two cars, I am having producing 20 mobile phones. So from 1 to 2, I'm sacrificing 7 mobile phone production, right? 27 to 20. Similarly, from 2 to 3, it comes down to 20 to 10. So 10 mobile phones. So essentially, if I think of that, they are sharing the same inputs of production, factors of production, then of course whenever it's limited, my available resources are limited, technology is given, and I cannot really produce everything together and increase both the productions together. So when I'm producing one, I'm sacrificing other. So at which rate I am sacrificing, that is increasing, and that is nothing but the opportunity cost. Because when I am sacrificing 3, that is my opportunity cost at the first go. 0 to 1 car, 3 mobile phones, my opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is further increasing to 7, 1 to 2, 27 to 20. It's further increasing to 10, 20 to 10 when I move to 2 to 3. So therefore, we see that the opportunity costs are increasing when I am producing, I am coming down the PPF, and I'm increasing production at the X unit, X axis, and I am decreasing at an increasing rate, at a larger rate. I'm decreasing the production on the Y axis. It can be the similar way. If you were estimating, like say, 10 mobile phones, 20 mobile phones, and 30 mobile phones, for every 10 mobile phones, how many cars, or for every one mobile phone, how many cars you are manufacturing, you will observe the same thing. The larger the mobile phones you are manufacturing, you will sacrifice cars at an increasing rate. At the very beginning, probably you won't, not probably, certainly you won't sacrifice many cars, but whenever you are increasing your mobile phone productions, you have to sacrifice at a larger rate. That is, opportunity cost is increasing whenever you are producing the other product at a larger rate. Coming to the second and third diagrams, this is a comparative picture between a poor nation and a high income nation, or when the poor nation becomes a high income nation. So what it says is, in that x-axis there are necessities, in the y-axis these are luxurious commodities. Taking example, the luxurious commodities can be cars, the necessities are the food. The same x and y axis in both the figures. So we see that the point A in this blue, so shows that a poor nation will produce more of necessity commodities and less of luxury commodities. But whenever the country is developing, their GDP is increasing, you can see, the PPF at the middle diagram can shift parallelly, but what we generally observe that they shift little tilted way wherever they have a comparative advantage. We'll learn about comparative advantage probably sometimes, and comparative advantage is nothing but where I have an advantage over others. Whatever product I can produce at a cheaper cost, I have an advantage over that product against my competitors to sell in the market. Because if I can produce something at a cheaper cost, I can keep the price lower as compared to the person or the country or the farm or the industry, whoever is producing that at a higher cost. Yes, cost means cost of production. It can be cost of input, it can be technology, it can be anything. So the total cost of production, if the other countries have higher, that means they cannot keep the price low because they have to earn a profit out of that. And to earn the same profit, my price will be lower than their price, so I will have an advantage to sell my product, because now my price being lower, everyone will like to buy from me because my price is lower, and then I will get a market advantage and I can buy more of this, I can sell more of my commodity as compared to my competitors. Hence, it depends, when a poor nation becomes a high income nation, we generally observe that they produce more of both, and the capacity of production necessities are larger because they want to, develop themselves, producing more of necessities like health, education, food, um, because they have struggled and now they are developing, so they want to um, be an independent nation, and that is how. But otherwise you see that in the diagram, they have moved from A point to B point, and in B point they are producing both of necessities, and even if they can produce a lot of necessities, but they are now also producing a lot of luxurious commodities, and because they are high income nations now, and they have probably covered whatever food or whatever necessity products they would require, right? So this is how it moves. It moves, the ppf moves outside either parallelly, but mostly we see a tilted movement. Almost the similar thing we observe, but in a slightly different way. As I said, that it depends upon where the choices are, where you have the comparative advantage. And now, in that, if in a poor society we see that private goods which you need to pay against, like say food, education, health, if it's not given at free of cost. Food of course is not free of cost, so let's take example of food. Certain necessary food can be, staple foods can be given at a subsidized rate to some poor families, but they do not come free of cost, right? So they are called private goods, whatever I buy paying a price, and there is a competition, right? There is a rivalry, and there is an excludability also, that I do not pay the price, I am not eligible to buy that good. And a public good is where everyone is, it's neither excludable nor, I do not need to pay anything against it to enjoy that benefit, nor it's there is any rivalry of consumption, no competition. That means if you are enjoying that, it's not that I cannot enjoy that, or someone has, if both of us are enjoying, someone else have lesser chance to enjoy that. Taking an example, these are nothing but common air, public health, national defense, good environment. These are the public goods because everyone should enjoy them equally, and they are free of cost. So, whenever there is a trade off between private goods and public goods, in the poor societies, we again see that people would like to buy private goods more. They may sacrifice on their health. They may not go to a doctor. They may do self medication or completely ignore their health, but they would require food, right? So, they mostly go for these basic necessities where they need to pay. Even if they need to pay, they will pay against them and buy that. So taking an example, they will be on the point A and buying a lot of private good, that is food, lot of food. Against, they may live in a poorer environment, they may ignore their health, so that is not really a priority for them. Similarly, a rich society, they, whenever a poor society becomes a rich society, you see that the again this shifts outside. Given the choices, given the priorities, the shifting takes place. It can be like, here we see it has expanded or shifted more towards the y-axis and less towards the x-axis. So they have moved lesser towards the food and more towards the, so how much you will eat, right? So if my hunger is fulfilled, it's met, and I am taking my all my nutrients, whatever is required to have a good health. If I am getting that, I would like to have the best of the healthcare, the best of the education, very clean environment, nice views outside my house, beautiful gardens. So these are the public goods they may vouch for, they may require for, and even if they need to pay for them. So that's a different story. That may become a private good. That's a different story altogether. So in that way, they will, go for both of from A to B, both of private good as well as public good, but they may go for a more of these public goods and less of private goods. So this is how the production possibility frontier, the shape of the production possibility frontier changes. And the next class, so I finish my class here for today. The next class we'll be discussing about utility, and we'll start with consumer behavior and all. So I wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourself and your family members. See you soon. Thank you very much.